My name is Anna Koppar. I am director at TP Theatre in Sweden. In the next minutes, I will, together with two actors, introduce you on how to conduct an interview in decision-making. We will take part of glimpses of the 4 steps of the methods, do's and don'ts on your way to become a trainer. In the following, we will meet a teacher that's being interviewed about a problematic situation at school with 2 students. In this first narrative, the interviewer will ask for a description of a situation that the narrator has been a part of. Remember to, as an interviewer, keep a neutral but friendly attitude. Listen and take notes. And stop the narrative based on appropriate criteria, like that's it. And don't interrupt the narrator, judge or evaluate what's being said.
Did you face a situation recently that caught your attention?
Do you mean like any kind of situation?
A concrete situation where you, as a teacher, were involved and that you found questionable or problematic.
Let me think. Well, there was this situation the other day.
Would you like to tell me about it?
Oh, yeah, sure. There was this situation between 2 students. There was a big quarrel in the classroom between these 2 students just as I was going to begin my class. And I took one of the students aside and tried to talk to him, but he didn't understand that what he did was wrong when he was making fun of the other student in the classroom. And I tried to talk some sense into him, but it was impossible. He didn't want to listen, and he left, shutting the door in my face.
In the following, the interviewer will ask for details on how things occurred in the situation chronologically. The interviewer should try to fill out the blanks in the narrative by asking questions like what, where, and then. The interviewer should also try to identify action verbs. These action verbs are being used later on in step 3. Action verbs could be word acts like I said, I showed, I asked.
Let's look now at what happened again in some detail. You told me that you took the student aside. How did it happen?
Well, I went up to him and I told him, stop this immediately.
And what was his response?
He kept quiet, or maybe murmuring something.
Then what happened?
I told him that the 2 of us should speak separately to discuss what had happened. I also told the other students that they should continue to work on their own. So we sat down in another room.
Okay. What kind of room was it?
It's like a chat room in school.
Okay. Did anything else happen between you leaving the classroom and entering the chat room?
Nah, we kept quiet, both of us. He tagged along a few meters behind.
So you got to the chat room, and then what happened?
Well, we kept talking for a while without getting anywhere.
So how did the conversation start?
It's a little hard to remember.
But who started the conversation?
I guess that was me. I said something like, do you realize that it's not okay to make fun of others the way you did?
Mhm.
Now that the interviewer, together with the teacher, has filled out all the blanks in the narrative, they will take a look at the decisions that the teacher took during the situation. They will look chronologically at if the decisions were decided or reacted, which form the decisions had, like advice, order, and so on, and also which effect the decisions had on all the elements in the situation. Finally, they will look at what strategy the teacher had while making all the decisions in the situation.
So, now let's look at the decisions that you took during this sequence that you described for me. And when you first came up to the student, you said that you told him to stop immediately. Was that a decision or a reaction?
It was definitely a decision. Well, the choral was disturbing the class, and I could see that the other students were really bothered by it, so I had to do something.
So, when you said to stop immediately, as you said, was decided, how was that delivered?
Well, I guess I spoke it out loud.
Mhm. When you speak it out loud, what do you do?
I tell him that his behavior is not okay and that it should stop.
Mm. And when you say that his behavior must stop, what do you do?
I guess I blame him, telling him to adjust.
Mm. So, what form of delivering your decision are you making when you tell him to adjust?
I guess I discipline him.
So, when you do that, what does it open up to in the conversation, in the situation, sorry?
Well, he's quiet, or what do you mean?
And that's it, it goes quiet. And what is that?
Well, he listens, or maybe rather obeys what I'm telling him to.
Mm. And what happens to you?
Well, I'm not sure. I guess I'm doing what I'm supposed to do as a teacher. I solve situations.
So does the situation solve?
No, I guess not. He goes quiet and maybe mumbling, and I feel like the bad guy.
So, now we've been looking at all the decisions you took in this situation. What was your strategy or main strategy when you made the decisions?
I'm not sure. I guess I try to do my job as a teacher, and sometimes it's very hard.
Mm. Yeah. So, should we take a look at the decisions you made? Hmm?
Yeah, sure. That would be good. It's hard to remember.
Yeah. Well, looking at your first decision, when you told him to stop immediately, you said that was to discipline him. And in your second decision, you said that you should talk separately. So, looking at the decisions, what strategy did you use?
I guess I tried to be the teacher, but at the same time, I didn't like his behavior.
So, yes. Did you in this situation call for social positions, beliefs or values, logic or reasoning, or the student's action potential?
I guess not the last one. I guess the first or the second one, but I'm not clear what you mean.
I guess you can say that social positions is when you call for the role as student and teacher and their relation to each other. And beliefs or values is it would be about evaluating behaviors as negative or positive.
Okay, well, I did evaluate his behavior and I asked for a behavioral change, of course. And I also did this in my role as a teacher. But thinking what I mainly did was probably to refer to as my role as a teacher and him as a student.
So, what was the result of the strategy in this situation?
Well, not as I wanted.
How would you wanted it to be?
I wanted to solve it, to get the student to tell me what had happened.
So did it?
No, I didn't let him.
Well, how come then this gap between your goal to solve the problem and the means you used?
I should have done it differently. Now I just didn't listen.
In this last step, the interviewer and the teacher will focus on one decision in the situation. The interviewer will ask the teacher what he perceived or had in mind while making the decision, as well as what was important and prioritized. The teacher has chosen his first decision to look closer at. And don't continue to ask for importance before the narrator mentioned a few perceptions.
So, in this situation, when making the decision to tell the student to stop immediately, what did you see?
Do you mean like concretely or like in the room?
Let me specify. What perceptions did you take into account when making your decision, like all circumstances in this specific situation?
Aha, okay. Well, I wanted to get out of the room as soon as possible, and also I was thinking about the other students, that they wouldn't be able to concentrate.
Did you perceive anything else in this specific moment?
Well, honestly, I didn't want to make a fool of myself in front of the students. And yeah, of course, I was also thinking about that female students who had to put up with that boy's attitude.
So, of all these perceptions that you just mentioned to me, which were the importance that you selected?
Well, I did want to leave the situation as soon as possible, and it was embarrassing with me bursting out in front of everybody. Yeah.
So, of the perceptions you had, leaving the situation and avoid being embarrassed was mainly taken into account, you would say?
Yes, I would say so.
You have just been watching an introduction to the decision-making interview. Good luck on your way of becoming a trainer.